Hello and welcome to New Filmmakers Los Angeles in partnership with Movie Maker magazine. My name is Danny DeLillo. We're here at the South Park Center. I'm delighted to be joined with Yazmeen, who came all the way from Toronto to be with us with her fantastic movie, One Day. Let's take a look at the clip. Yazmeen, firstly, welcome to the New Filmmakers Los Angeles family.
Thank you.
We'll never let you go now. That's it. You're alumni now.
Okay, amazing.
And thank you for making a special effort to come down and thank you for bringing One Day to us because it was so lovely to see on the big screen. For those that haven't seen your film, tell us a little bit about it.
Well, One Day is a short film about an Indo-Caribbean Muslim teenager who daydreams to find her inner confidence, and she's challenged by an unexpected classmate to pursue her dreams, really. Yeah.
And honestly, this story, these characters, we'll talk more, but I'm already in love with this set and this scene. I wasn't done after this short film, and I need more, okay? Yes. Now, you should explain a little bit yesterday at the film festival, but tell us a bit about where the inspiration came from in turning this idea into a story.
Yeah, well, I went to a Catholic high school in, north of Toronto, and there wasn't a lot of diversity in that school. I felt misunderstood at times, and I did have my group of other young women who also sort of felt that way. And after graduating high school and after, finishing university and having these reflective moments with friends now, I've realized that this is a very common experience. That was definitely the start of it. And then the nuances of the character being Muslim, wearing hijab, and being Indo-Caribbean were really important because I'm a Muslim, I'm half Indo-Caribbean. And that was something else that for my first film, I think it was also about getting my own frustrations out about representation issues that were really upsetting to me, like seeing Muslim women wearing hijab on screen and it not looking right, not looking cute, and that, they usually want to take off their hijab for usually a white boy. And usually it is centered around some kind of teen romance. And so I guess One Day is also a counter narrative in that way, where it's a film that is supposed to be empowering for young women, and especially for young Muslim women, and hopefully for those that wear hijab as well. And so you see her in her daydreams. She is wearing hijab. She is very, flamboyant, and she loves dressing up. And so she's proud of who she is, and she actually wants to learn more about her culture rather than, shy away from it the way that a lot of that representation usually comes across.
Oh, Yazmeen, you did such an amazing job.
Thank
really
you.
Just, firstly, I'm glad, first and foremost, to get out your frustrations of what you haven't seen and your own experiences for your own lens. That's the most important thing. But to kind of universally, I just kept watching the film thinking about how many other people that can relate to these experiences that you've showcased and shared. But no, and again, it was so refreshing to see it through the lens, especially of these young teenage girls and the things that they were going through and experiencing. I love your cast so much, love. How was it? It must have been fun casting this.
Yes.
And especially as well, casting with people that can truly relate to these characters and experiences. How was the casting process?
It was so much fun. We put out a really wide casting call. We did go union, but we also had an understanding with the union that our top priority is casting authentically. And so we did cast Rebecca Black, who plays Padma and Ginny in Georgia, which a lot of young folks know her from. And she happens to be Indo-Caribbean herself, and she has Muslim family members. And so I think it was an exciting opportunity for her to dive into those identities and explore that more. And I was very particular about doing in-person auditions and in-person callbacks and in-person chemistry
Good.
reads.
I love that. We need that feeling,
yes,
right?
and I think, that was really important is, I think casting Rebecca came first. And then it was, okay, who can match Rebecca's energy, even just physicality of it. Because I knew a lot of those shots with Zarina's character were going to need to feel, I wanted them to basically be parallel characters in a sense. And so I wanted them to, physically have similar features. And Rebecca is very tall. So I really wanted to find another actress who matched the height. And funny enough, Hamra Ballet, who plays Zarina, was taller and fit the energy perfect. And actually popped out of nowhere after I had seen all the Zarinas. And I was about to hit send on a Zarina that I didn't feel fully worked.
Oh, you knew.
And I got a text from someone else saying that they think they found my Zarina. And then I got that. It was just a crazy moment. And then I got that self-tape and I was like, I think this is her. And they did the chemistry read together and it was so exciting and magical to watch that happen.
You went on that gut feeling and you knew instinctively and then it came along, which is
it was so
amazing.
exciting. I think it's really about finding the energy and it's just like the energy of a character, and it's just not something that you can always touch on when you're doing the audition process, but you just kind of like know. And I think it was really important that they all brought their own energies to it too, that it was natural, that they weren't forcing any kind of performance. And then of course, like their cultural backgrounds, I really wanted them to bring the authenticity of their cultural backgrounds to this. And even if it's not so specific within the story, like to at least have that background of their character. So for Zarina, the actress is Ethiopian. And so we talked about growing up for her and seeing her mother as an activist and how that might have informed why Zarina feels so strongly compelled to speak up in class. And so we created these whole backstories that are also rooted in their cultural experiences, which was a lot of fun. And then, just little things like her bracelet and stuff like that just kind of sprinkled throughout.
And I'm glad that you mentioned that, because you said this last night as well, just the attention to detail that you had to make sure you're being respectful of each other's, cultures, communities, experiences, religions, everything. And that's how filmmaking should be, right? Which is, it really should. And, doing the work so that you're being authentic to everybody's experience, right? How was this for you directing? Like, this must have been, and what was your process like as a director?
Yeah, I think for me, specificity is key. And I also run an organization that promotes the importance of specificity consulting for authentic storytelling practices.
Amazing. What's this organization?
So it's called Films with a Cause.
Yeah.
And we've done research on productions that use this process actually. And so that's the same process that I used, where, your priority, of course, is the creative, but you're also paying attention to the specific areas that the cultural nuances can come through and really make the story richer and make the audiences more engaged. And so we worked with a few cultural consultants. And also because I'm part Indo-Caribbean, also I don't wear hijab, it was really important that I was learning about my own community because I don't know everything there is to know. And I want to make sure that when people from those communities watch this film, that they are excited and that they do see themselves in it. And so, we had very detailed conversations from like even the script and the way that the mother-daughter dynamic is. And we had like an Indo-Caribbean comedian help me out with like the dynamics between the both of them in rehearsals. And then in conversations with the production designer, we also had like a group meeting with the consultants about how to transition from the reality scenes to the daydream scenes, and also like factoring in like little bits of Indo-Caribbean culture and that as well, to show that Adila really wants to dive more into her culture. And all of that was really exciting for me to do that learning.
That's amazing. And this is no surprise, Yazmeen, like why You know, I mean, again, you're saying all the things that every production should do, but they don't.
And my
You
cinematographer was Indo-Caribbean Muslim as well.
It's amazing.
And it wasn't even something that I said, like, they have to be this and this has to be this. But I think also when folks found out that this was happening, people got excited because they have been wanting to work on something, you know, that they can relate to.
Absolutely. And how special it is to when when you're part of, and it should be how it be any of it, how special it is to be part of something that represents you and represents a community that you're familiar with. So really, really great. I mean, I love the whole ensemble and characters. I love the brightness and the production design, and you know, it was just so picturesque to look at as well.
Colors are very important to me, and I really made an effort to have those meetings with the cinematographer and the production design team and the wardrobe team and really make sure we had like a very cohesive visual. And my references were like early 2000s Bollywood movies and Clueless and just like fun films that could give it a tone that would resonate with young audiences. Because a lot of Muslim and hijab wearing characters are usually seen in a light of, I heard this before, but like doom and gloom, and they're usually very depressing stories. And while all stories are, you know, relevant and important in their own way, I really haven't seen a lot of fun stories that highlight, you know, brown and Muslim girls in this light. And I know that it's something that the audiences are really craving, and so
and that's why we need you as a filmmaker. That's why we need you telling these stories, Yazmeen, and you really, really did it. I'm already like, okay, I did speak to you yesterday about this, but I kind of wasn't done with your characters. All right, like I was like not ready to let this world that you created go. What is next? What's going on?
Right. Well, yeah. So you're not the first one to ask. I have been asked, you know, if I see one day as a proof of concept, and I am developing it as a series. You know, I don't know where it'll go, but I do have, you know, other character interests that I'm writing, and I'm just really interested in flawed, you know, female characters, and I'm interested in the journey of coming to yourself as a young woman through all of the messiness, and I definitely want to explore those journeys through the lens of like a Muslim woman. And there's so many, you know, ways that could look, of course, as you see in the characters in One Day. And so, I'm definitely on this journey of going more so into scripted, flawed female Muslim characters are definitely my thing.
I love, and we're ready for it, and you know, we're ready for whatever universe or stories that you take us in. For our lovely filmmaking audience, any piece of advice or artistry or creativity or energy that you go by that you could share that's important to you for our audience that want to follow in the footsteps?
I think it's really important to make work that you wanted to see or that you want to see. You know, if you're in the audience, like what is the film that you feel like you need right now? And I think when you go really personal, that's when it will resonate with others, because, you know, you have a specific story that is not something that others are, you know, thinking of themselves. And so when you bring something new to other audiences, they get really excited by your perspective, right?
Absolutely.
And so I think it's important to come from your own authentic place and to not create something that you think audiences want to see. Because, you know, even right now, like there's so much excitement around the film, but, you know, we're also getting a bit of, you know, some haters, some of the hater comments.
Stuff the haters.
But it's actually exciting for me to see. I'm like, oh wow, we've got
it shows how relevant you are, you know.
And exactly. You know, so, but it doesn't faze me, because I know that the reception of it and the way that young Muslim girls have been looking at the screens, you know, when I see them, it's so exciting and special to watch. And so I think just like make the things that you really wanted to see. Absolutely.
Well, we're delighted and we're proud of you.
Thank you
for being part of our film festival, and we're very excited to see next year. But thank you so much for being here and bringing One Day to us.
Thank you for having me. It's been a great time.
Thank you, Yazmeen, everybody.